How do y'all fight?
Hard.
The way we fight has evolved because one day the light came on for me and I realized, I looked at how I was raised and how my family deal with conflict and how she was raised and how her family deals with conflict. So for me, if we have an argument early on, I would literally be laying in the bed like, yo, one of us getting out of here tomorrow. Which one of us leaving? Because in my mind, that argument is the segue to the demise of the relationship. And so she wake up in the morning like, hey, what you want for breakfast? I'm like, you trying to poison me? What the hell?
First of all, I don't ask you what you want for breakfast. You wake up to breakfast.
Okay, so
Okay, let's get it clear. Let's get it clear.
So needless to say, I wasn't trying to eat that breakfast that morning. 'Cause I was like, you know, but what I had to learn was like, yo, just because we have an argument or a disagreement, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the relationship, right? And so we had to learn that like, none of our problems are bigger than who we are to each other. So my wife's love language is fussing and cussing. If y'all gonna find that out, that's one her love language, fussing and cussing, right? Yeah, that's new. They
made off me.
So I had to really, at one point I'm like, yo, who are you talking to, right? But I had to learn like, yo, she doing all that, but then 15 minutes later, she's still catering and doing those things. So her actions, but also learning that like, she's a person who has to get it out. Like, you know, she wanna deal with it. She wanna yell, fuss, cuss. And what she's saying right now, she mean it when she say it, but it's not the core of what she feels, right? For me, I'm like processing, like, when I say something, I kind of already thought it through, kind of already got it figured out. And so that contrast caused us a lot of conflict, right? So for me, I had to, again, understand and learn like, she gonna say a whole bunch of nonsense. She gonna spaz in the moment because she has to process what she feeling out loud. She gotta process her stuff out loud. Whereas I'm processing quietly. Right. So we're going through the same process. I just can hear hers. You know what I mean? If she could hear mine, we probably be divorced because I be saying some stuff in my mind as I'm going through it. Learn to kind of deal with it. You know what I'm saying? No. So we fight authentically. Let's say that. We have an authentic relationship, and we're gonna be pissed sometimes. We ain't gonna give nobody a facade that we live in a perfect life. At the end of the day, because you're setting people up.
And just because I cuss them out, don't try it.
You're setting people up to think that if your life ain't perfect, then there's something wrong. No, we fuss, we fight, and guess what? We still love each other.
But can I
and tomorrow we're gonna show up the same exact way. We're gonna show up strong. I actually don't mind my kids hearing us. You know why? Because they see the process. Mm-hmm. They see us argue, and then they see us fix it. They see us work through it, and they understand and learn how to deal with real stuff. And it doesn't mean it's the end. The kids have been in the house when we're on the phone, and she's in the kitchen, I'm on my way home, and we fussing. One of us hang up on each other. 37 seconds later, I walk in the door and I smack on her butt, and the kids looking around like, what the heck is going on? That argument don't define us. We're going to disagree. We're going to. And at the end of the day, when you disagree, that's an opportunity for growth, because let's figure out what's happening. Let's figure out what's going on. And sometimes you just having a bad day, you just in your own way, and don't let her being in her own way make me look at her differently. She's still who she is to me, you know, and vice versa. So we fight authentically. Somebody can tell you they love you and treat you like shit.
Mm-hmm. Somebody can speak to you nice.
So I'm 100% okay with my little spark plug cussing and fussing, because I know if I walk down a dark alley, she gonna grind and go hard for me. When you start fighting, that word fight, right? You're defending yourself. So you got to get to a place where you're okay with losing the fight. Because you have to get to a place where it's not a fight. I'm not fighting with her. We gotta now come on one accord and fight the issue. Courtney and Gerald hit it. One of the ideas that trust is important for communication, but at the same time, people sometimes use communication blanketly as a barrier to their relationship, because I'm not going to openly communicate because I don't trust you. I'm not going to openly communicate because you shouldn't trust me. I'm not going to openly communicate because I'm afraid that if I am open in my communication, it's going to create more of an issue, or I'm going to be exposed in terms of some vulnerability. So what ends up happening is communication is bad because we're not really saying what we really feel or what we really think or what we really mean or what we really want or what we really need. Therefore, communication seems bad because we're talking around the issue, trying to find a creative way to say something to get what we need without saying what we really need. So we're playing games with each other. So sometimes communication is used as a cop-out for what the real issue is. Self-awareness is something that we add into that. Self-awareness is important because you can't build a life with somebody if you don't know yourself. You can't be everything that you need to be to somebody else if you don't know yourself, right? Accepting and embracing change. Change. It was an intentional kind of process to get you guys to think about this concept of building, right? So obviously the first one was the game, right? The goal in competition as we're building, we're trying to build as high as we can, but we know that at some point the structure is going to collapse because as we're going high, we're pulling from the foundation. So before we process the competitive game that we just had, each couple was going to build their house. And the second activity was essentially working with your partner to build a house, right? And we started without the instructions for a minute just to kind of make it a little challenging, intentionally, of course. And then giving you the instructions, and then we started to see, once the instructions came in, we started to see progress. We started to see things start to move, right? So I want to give you guys an opportunity to just kind of talk about both of those, exercises and kind of what you guys got from it, what you thought, what you felt doing it, and kind of how it connects to relationship.
In terms of the whole not starting with the instructions, what I got from that is, it's kind of like your marriage or your relationship. Whenever you meet somebody, you just come with your raw self, and you don't have nothing to start with. You just basically, I like this person like me, and you kind of try to navigate through, being together or developing that relationship. But as the longer y'all be together, and the more tools you kind of get, hence the instructions. Once the instructions come into play, like for us, I know it was counseling. Even before we came here, counseling kind of gave us the foundation with the tools so that we know how to process and deal with whatever issues came our way. So that's where the instruction came in. So it's kind of like, okay, first we was doing it on our own, just trying to figure it out. Then you give us the tools, you give us the instructions. Now we can better put this thing together and have an understanding as to how we gonna make this thing work.